Hey y'all, in the past I did a couple videos on making a water trap dust collector for the blast cabinet. The initial video was me making it. The second video was a change that I made that made it work much better. All that being said, it still does a fantastic job. I'm very happy with how it works. But a couple things I'm not thrilled with, and it's partly because of my setup, is what I have to do to get in, to get it cleaned out, and this. I get tired of listening to that. So, what I have come up with is a way to make a water trap dust collector for my blast cabinet without using a vacuum cleaner. Let me show you what we're going to do. All right, here's everything we're going to need to make this water trap dust collector. Now before I start, let me be clear that what I'm interested in is removing the dust from the blast cabinet. I know they use these collector systems where they can separate the sawdust from the dust, and I'm not interested in that. All I want to do is be able to see inside the cabinet while I'm blasting. I need something to pull the dust out, and I need a place for the dust to get trapped. That's why I'm going to use the Dust Deputy. I could make one of these. It's just not worth the time. I'm spending $50 on this. This is tried and true. I know this will work. This will give me the Venturi effect to drive the dust down into the bucket. In the bucket, I'm probably going to have about that much water with, I don't know, I may have a screen or something in here, a filter, something to give the dust additional opportunity to adhere. Instead of just the static tension of the water, it'll have something there to be broken up just a little bit, so all that dust will get in there and get trapped and stay. So how am I going to pull all this without a vacuum? I'm going to use a bilge blower. This is Atwood 3000. These are used in boats to pull exhaust fumes and gas fumes out of the boat. And we're going to use this. It's a runs off 12 volts, so we're going to need an adapter. So you need an adapter of sorts. Choose your poison, but it's got to be at least 4 amps. It's got to be a 4 amp adapter. This, I believe, was an adapter for a computer monitor or something, and it is a 12 volt 4 amp. It will work just fine. I'm also going to put a switch in line so I can turn it on and off. The odd thing that we need, because of the size of this stuff, is this is a 3-inch, it requires a 3-inch tubing uses vent tubing inside these boats. Well, that doesn't work for the blast cabinet. So I'm going to adapt it down to 2 inches. But to do that, I need 2 things. I need a 3-to-2 rubber adapter, and I need a small piece of 3-inch Schedule 40 PVC pipe. Now, this Schedule 40 3-inch PVC, you could hammer it on. It wants to go on, but this is just still a little too big. That's not going to be a problem, because what we're going to do is we're going to get a torch and we're going to heat this up, either a torch or a heat gun, and heat it up. Let it start getting just a little bit pliable. You don't want to burn it, you just want to soften it. When you do that, you can force it on, and then it will accept the shape of this, and then it'll be the size that you need. So here's how this works. This is the top. The air is moving that direction. It's moving like that. So we'll have this with that pipe on it attached to this. And our hose, 2-inch hose, this is a vacuum hose, will go in here. And the 2-inch vacuum hose attaches to the top of the dust deputy. And this attaches to the blast cabinet. It hooks up the same way as if you had a vacuum to it. Now, where this is coming out at the top, initially there's nothing going to be here. If it made you feel better, you could put a vacuum bag or something, but I'm pretty sure that all of the dust is going to be trapped in this water. So this is going to be compact, it's going to be quieter, and these you can get brand new, I believe, for $25, $30 a piece. And you may have something like this already laying around. You wouldn't have to put any money in that. But it's cheaper than a vacuum, and it's quieter than a vacuum. And, well, doggone it, I just wanted to make sure I could make it work. And I'm pretty sure this is going to happen. So let's get started. Not necessarily first things first, but to show y'all how this works. Again, this is 12 volt, 4 amp adapter. Feels pretty good right now. It's hot in here. Okay, how I ran this wire, this had one of those little adapter plugs on the end that does me no good because it's got a yellow wire and a black wire coming out of the back of this. Well, if you were to cut that plug off, what you'd want to use, you'd want to attach the black wire to the shielded grounding wire around this thing, and the white wire you would want to connect to the yellow wire. That makes it, that's true ground hot, or excuse me, positive negative. You could hook it up the other way, but your fan will be running in the wrong direction. So just be aware of that. The other thing, I don't know that you need to see me do. These are simple. We'll just go through it real quick. It comes with, this little thing comes with a template, but all we're going to do, again, this is a 1 gallon bucket. It's nice. I only need a little bucket. Basically, you can use this as a template or what they sent. You need to cut out that area right there and drill those holes out for bolts. And then you attach this to the top with these bolts, and then you put it on. That's all there is to that. I don't know that you need to see me do that, but we're going to get, I'm going to get the torch, we're going to get that thing pliable and get all that stuff hooked up. Let's get that thing on it. Push it in. Just let it stay in there and cool off. I don't have my gloves with me. It's nice if you can help it, but this is going to do just fine. You don't want to push it down all the way. Just push it down a little bit, because the further you push it, the less it, the more it's going to open. You want it so when it's cooled off, you can still push down a little bit and try to get a good seal. Now, when this is all said and done, what you can do, if you want to make it, just get you a little bit of silicone or something like that and put a little bit in there, and that'll seal things up. But what we're going to do to cheat, not to cheat, but it'll help this thing cool off, we're going to go ahead and pull some cool air through here. Get it tightened up on there, plug it in. That'll cool it on off. Okay. Now while I got this here, let me talk about this a little bit. Like I said before, we use it's a 12 volt system. This uses 12 volts. We're going to use a 12 volt adapter. And any adapter, you got to have at least 4 amps on the adapter. And for the adapter plug, something to remember is if you cut the wires off of your adapter, you're going to have a white wire, and then you're going to have a wire like a shielding or grounding wire that's wrapped around that one. Well, the one that's wrapped around that's your black wire. And the white wire would go to your yellow. Black is your negative. White is your positive. It will work if you plug it up incorrectly, but the fan will turn in the other direction, and you don't want that. Okay, let's move on. That's going to be just fine. That works good. Then what we want to do from this point is, I have lost, there it is. We want this to adapt onto here. So we just get that on and tighten it up. Remember, you're not doing there's not a lot of vacuum. It's not huge, so stuff doesn't have to be monstrously tight. It just needs to be snugged up. You could use on this, if you chose not to use this rubber type, you could always use this type, the 3-to-2 PVC adapter. I just wanted this so I could take this off and on, and this is the way I wanted to go, but you have options. Okay, after we get that, then we want to get our hose. This is our volunteer or donator hose, and just get it snug down in there, then tighten it on. Again, you just want it tight enough so it's holding it on. Okay, that's not going anywhere. All right, that much is done. Now, what we'll do, get this stuff out of everybody's way. Now we're going to mark this up. Like I said, this is nothing exciting. It comes with a template. I just soon use this right here. It's pretty easy. Lay it down, center it. That's where I want it. Just put my marks for my holes. And for the big one. There we go. Just cut all that out and we'll be back to put it together. Something I should mention about this that I neglected to, but people probably wondering, well, how much power do these things have? It looks just like a little tiny little fan that won't do much at all. These move 145 cubic feet a minute. That's more than enough for a blast cabinet. Just to give you an idea what this little thing will do. Okay, and we get everything drilled out. Lay your gasket on it. Lay your dirt deputy on it. and mount it up. That's it. Now we'll get our water. And our, I'm gonna cut a little piece of filter and put it in there. I'll show you what I mean. Okay, here's what I was talking about. We got water in our bucket. And all I've done is I've cut basically a piece of air filter like you'd use in a house heating cooling element system. And I just cut it so it will sit in there. It gives the dust an additional bit to adhere to. So now we've got that done. We're going to go ahead and close our system up. Our hose will go here. And we're going to go plug this thing up to our cabinet and see how it works. See, I'm not sure how I want to mount this thing when I'm all said and done. As usual, I kind of do these things on the fly. So you're kind of watching this stuff happen in real live terms, real thinking terms. But there it is. I've just got it tacked to the wall. And the hose goes down. And there's our bucket. So I'm going to move up to the cabinet, get a shot inside, and I'll turn the blaster on and we'll see how well it cleans. Okay, let's turn our new unit on. And see if I can just cheat this thing a little. You can see how the gloves are starting to straighten out. That's the vacuum that's being created in the box. I got a foot control. I'm just going to try to make a little bit of a mess of this. Kicking up everything that's loose around here. Everything looks good. Let's open the unit up and see how it looks. You can see we've trapped a lot of stuff in there. And this unit got just a little bit of dust in it. So we're going to be putting this thing through the ringer and make sure it does exactly what we want. But that is what we need right there. Collecting the dust in the cab, in this. Then we just go wash that out. Then we're done. Good deal. I wanted to take the opportunity to show again everything that you need to make this little dust collector. And let's just say it starts with this. Like I said, this is the Atwood 3000. It's a bilge blower. It's a 12 volt, basically a 12 volt axial fan that moves 145 CFM, cubic feet a minute of air. You need that. You need your power supply. The power supply has to be at least 12 volts and at least 4 amps. Because this is rated, I believe, a little over 3, so you need a 4 amp unit. You could use something like that, or you can buy these 12 volt converter units. Those things that you run a CB radio with, those what are realistic or whatever, they don't have enough amps to run this. So anyway, that's an important thing about running this is the amperage of your 12-volt system. For convenience, put a little inline switch and you're ready to run the motor. Now, for the tubing, remember the problem in getting this connected to the whole system was the diameter of this right here. It is 3 inches OD, outside diameter. Didn't have any, the only expedient thing I found to do that was using a piece of 3-inch Schedule 40 PVC. And we heated up the end so it would fit into this. Now this is like our adapter. I just chose to cut this 10 inches long. You can cut it whatever you need. I would encourage you to cut it long so you could cut it off shorter rather than cut it too short and need more. To connect this to your vacuum line, vacuum hose, I chose to use a 3-inch by 2-inch adapter. I chose the rubber type because they're easy on and off. You can get a PVC version, your choice. So we'd mount that up in there. Next thing, need a section of vacuum hose. This is 2-inch vacuum hose. And we're going to attach it to our 2-inch adapter. And you just have to get it, work it in there, then tighten it down. This vacuum hose connects to the top of our dust deputy. Remember, I chose to use this because it's tried and true. I know it's going to work, and I decided to spend the money on this right here. Then the dust deputy, I'm using it to connect to just a 1-gallon bucket. You can use a larger bucket. I was trying to get away with as small as I could. This is part of my little experiment, and it works. Inside the dust deputy, or excuse me, inside the bucket, I'm using a cut-out air filter that I place in here along with the water. It gives the dust an additional bit to adhere to. One thing to consider when you fill the bucket up, you're going to have to play with the height of the water to collect the dust, because it's going to depend on how much pressure you have in your blast cabinet, and you don't want to have so much, you don't want this system to create so much vacuum that you have water coming back up in here. So play with that. And then we run our other 2-inch hose here, and then this end connects to our cabinet. And that's it. All right, let me show you the finished product. What I've come up with, and we can just finish this whole thing up. I've mounted a little shelf on the wall where my vacuum line to the cabinet can come straight out into this unit. Then I run it straight up, a little overhead high. I've also incorporated the switch. This works pretty well. I've been using it for a few days, and it has done a really good job. So now, this is all the space that it's taking up. Get ready to go. Turn my switch on. Ready to roll. Find that for my application, running the bucket about half full does an awesome job. One thing y'all might want to think about, if you seem to be pulling too much debris, you just want to get the dust out. But if you seem to be pulling too much debris and things are a little out of control, Make sure that you can vent your cabinet where you can introduce some fresh air into it and adjust the amount of vacuum that's in the actual cabinet. That would take care of any of those problems. So as you can see, it's a pretty compact little unit. It's dedicated to the cabinet. It's quieter. It's more efficient. It does an awesome job, and I'm pretty happy with it. So I hope y'all found this useful. Maybe y'all can do something like this and improve upon it. If you do, I'd appreciate you sharing it with us. So as usual, good luck with your projects.